You seeing the right screen?
Yes, we're definitely seeing your slides.
Okay, good. Oh, what's happening here? Wait, let's try it again.
Okay,
Okay.
fantastic. Welcome. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for being here today. I'm so excited to host our immigration Q&A by Devont and sponsored by CIBC. Thank you so much for joining this important discussion today, everyone. My name is Sisha Maharaj. I'm a senior consultant, business development and external relations with Devont. This is our team to the right. And for those of you who are new today and have not been to one of our events before, I'd just love to tell you a little bit about Devont and welcome you officially to this webinar. So before we get started, just wanted to let you know that all participants are muted, so there's no need to use your video. The session is recorded and you can post your questions in the Q&A feature. Because we do get a lot of questions on immigration for Elizabeth, I'm going to encourage you also to like some of the questions that you see there, and I will prioritize those questions in our chat and organized order of the questions that I'll be asking. Also, for future events, you can take a look at www.devant/, all events, and you'll be able to register for upcoming events as well. So, for those of you who are new, just a little bit about Devant. Our purpose is to help everyone that we possibly can to get their ideal job as quickly as possible. Our platform has everything you need all in one place with 24/7 access, and that platform includes AI-powered career tools, video-based career training, professional career coaching, and weekly virtual events such as today's events. So if you are part of one of our partners, whether that be for one of the schools or non-for-profits, you have access through our partnerships, as well as we have special programs for the community as well. So take a look for that and make sure that you are signed up to take access of all of these support tools that are available for you. So specifically for this event, I just want to mention that this information in this session does not constitute legal advice. Please refer to Immigration, Refugees, and Citizenship Canada for the most up-to-date information and consult a registered immigration professional for personal advice. But with that being said, I do want to welcome our expert barrister, solicitor, and partner of LM Law Group, Elizabeth Long. She is a certified specialist. She's been with Devon offering these free events for our community on a regular basis for a number of years. And again, thank you to CIBC for sponsoring this important topic. For those of you who have not met Elizabeth yet, she is a leading immigration lawyer in Canada. She's an active advocate of immigrant and refugee rights in Canada and frequently presents and advises on immigration issues to organizations, universities, member of a parliament, unions, and the media. She has also testified several times before the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Citizenship and Immigration on various immigration policies. And also, she holds a Juris Doctor Law degree from the University of Toronto, a Bachelor of Arts degree with honors in psychology from Memorial University in Newfoundland. And she also holds a Master of Law degree from Osgoode Hall Law School at York University, where she focuses on the intersection between immigration and labor and employment law for foreign workers. She's been certified by the Law Society of Ontario as a specialist in citizenship and immigration law, a prestigious list of only which a few, meaning 65 lawyers in Canada, belong. And she speaks both English and Mandarin. So, as you can see, you have a leading expert in Canada with you today. I do want to encourage you to take advantage of this information, take notes, and we will have an opportunity for Q&A at the end. So, Elizabeth, the floor is yours. Welcome again. Thank you so much for being here to share with us what is happening in immigration and how our community can take advantage and learn on any upcoming proposed changes. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Sisha. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about something very important that is coming up. and that is changes to the express entry system. So right now we are at the government consultation stage. The government has given stakeholders, and I'm part of the Canadian Bar. So we have also been consulted and we have provided our submissions on their proposed changes. And so these changes right now are not set in stone. I repeat, they're not set in stone. It's not for sure that they're, what I tell you today will be the case in the end. All I wanted to let you guys know is here is some of the things that the government is proposing that they're looking at. And it could be that maybe 70, 80, 90, who knows how much percentage of this is coming. But for those of you who are going through the permanent residency, hunt for permanent residency and trying to get permanent residency, and if you haven't received your invitation to apply yet, it's probably a good thing for you to see ahead as to what may be coming down. Okay? So the government is talking about changes to two stages. They're talking about changes with regard to entering into the pool, to qualify to just get into the system. Okay? And essentially, right now, to qualify to get into the system, you have to qualify under one of three categories. These are federal permanent residence categories that were in place years ago before express entry came into place. And the government at that time said, well, you know what? We're still going to let these people who qualified under these programs to be able to enter themselves into the pool. We're just going to have an extra layer to select those people we want. Now, the new program is going to take these programs away. We're going to start with just one program. So everybody will be able to qualify based on one criteria. Okay? And the government has proposed three criteria. One is work experience. They are proposing that people who have 1 year in the last 3 years of work experience in high-skilled jobs would be able to, that's one of the criteria. Now, this work experience, we don't know exactly what this work experience would be other than the fact that it would be high-skilled. The government has said some things about not allowing self-employment work to qualify. It could be perhaps that, it could be for similar to CEC. We don't know as to whether or not, you'll be able to count the work experience while you're studying. We don't know exactly what this would be, but, work experience is one of the criteria. Second criteria is language. They have said to enter the pool, you will want to have a CLB 6 for all language areas. Now, this is not necessarily a really high language area, although it's a little bit higher than the current CEC for tiers 3 and 2. That's a CLB 5 right now. We don't know if this is going to continue to be the case or not. In the end, though, just even if you have a CLB 6 to enter the pool, unless you get invited through a category-based draw, these language points are still pretty low. And to be competitive, normally we are advising people to be at the CLB 9s even, during this time. So anyway, this is just to enter the pool. And finally, they have said that they will want a baseline of high school to enter the pool. Again, this is not CRS points, okay? CRS points, likely you're going to need a lot more than high school in order to be competitive. But this is for people just to be able to qualify to enter the pool. Now, the second stage that they wanted to make changes to, and this is really the big news, is that they do want to make a lot of changes to the CRS points. Okay, so these are the points that you get once you enter the pool. And they want to add some categories. They want to add one, which is the high wage occupation work experience. So the government has had done these studies where they made an assumption. They made an assumption that people who earn a lot of money, the more people someone earns in Canada, the more successful they are. That was their basis of this study. And because of this, they saw that people who earn a lot of money earn a lot of money. Okay. And this is why they are proposing that people who have high wage occupations, not how much a person actually earns, but a person who are in the occupation, okay, that has a high wage normally, that they would get a boost in their CRS points if the work experience is in Canada or if they have a job offer, the high wage and job offer. There's talking about LMIAs. We've told them this is a really bad idea because of previous program integrity issues. But this is where they're at with this. They're also talking about adding professional certification points and expanding certifications for the trades. And it's going to be, we have questions on how, what these certifications are going to be, how they're going to be monitoring and liaising with the provinces, because most professional certifications, and even trade certifications are with the provinces. And there's 10 provinces in Canada, 3 territories. How are they going to be regulating this? Remains to be seen, but this is what they have proposed. Now, they are talking about removing certain points as well. The first one I agree with. They're going to now take away differing points for people who are single compared to people who are married or common law. It's going to be the same just based on the principal applicant. You can still have your family come with you and get permanent residence together with you. It's just that whether or not whatever your spouse has is not going to make a difference in whether or not what your points are going to be. Okay, so this is going to be good because, right now there's a lot of issues with some people who are saying, well, my spouse is not accompanied, their points shouldn't matter, and IRCC taking issue with that. Okay, so now with the new system, you're not going to have this issue. Provincial Nominee Program points, they're going to take away the 600 points. They said it's not going to be needed anymore because you're going to have special Provincial Nominee Program draws, kind of like category-based draws. Well, kind of like what they're having right now, which are specific draws just for those who have provincial nominations. They're going to take away French proficiency, like the 50 points that you get for French proficiency, because they say that's already covered under the category-based draws for French speakers. They're going to take away points for siblings in Canada. Very importantly, and this is something that most people have taken issue with, is they are talking about taking away points for Canadian study. I think we have taken a lot of issue with this because we certainly think that having that Canadian study, gives people that benefit of being able to establish themselves, find work in Canada, etc. So it remains to be seen as to whether or not they will keep this removal of this points in the new system. All right, so a lot of changes that might be good or not so good for people. We don't know again. Are these changes going to be in place? We don't know for sure. So what should you do right now if you are trying to get permanent residence. First of all, if your points right now are enough to get invited to apply, or if you just need to go and do another language exam just to get into go and do it now. Don't wait for later on when changes happen because you don't know how that might affect you. Okay. They are talking, government is talking about implementing this as early as November of this year. We don't know this is the government. We never know, what exactly they're going to be doing, but they're talking about it for November. Whatever you can, if you can increase your points right now, go and do it. Go do another English exam. Go and do your French exam. We can certainly talk about different ways to increase your points. A lot of times people come to me for the consultation. They put themselves into the pool and I look at it and they have not maximized their points. They did something weird that the system didn't pick up on. They didn't get their maximum points. So whatever you can, do whatever you can to maximize your points under the current system. Future wise, if you can't get invited right now, but you have some time on your work permit or you're still studying, occupations for category-based draws will be very important. The category-based draws are the draws where you're in the pool and you might get and only they will invite people only who belong to certain occupations or who can speak French at the CLB 7 or not just speak, all the four levels, reading, writing, listening, and speaking for the CLB 7, right? So those category-based draws are going to remain. So either you can, do something with the category-based draws, or later on, if these high wage occupations is a gives you a boost, that's something when you're looking for jobs to see if you can get a occupation that is in this high wage occupation. And finally, express entry is not the end all and be all. There's a lot of programs out there, such as Provincial Nominee Programs, the RCIP program, the AIP, other kinds of PR programs that are out there and that may be coming up. So we've been doing a lot of different kinds of programs on, education webinars on different programs that are out there, and we'll continue to do them as well. For those of you who have registered for this webinar, we will put you on our list where we will send you news on immigration that, when the new system comes out, for example, we'll send you news on that. If you don't like it, you just certainly unsubscribe, but we have a very low unsubscribe rate. It's like less than 1% normally because I guess the information people do find it valuable. All right, Sisha, we have some time right now for some Q&A.
Yes, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for sharing with us these upcoming or proposed changes. I'm just taking it in right now, and I see we're going to have lots of questions for you. Thanks, everyone, again for joining. For those of you who joined a little bit later, my name is Sisha. I'm one of the team members here with Devont, and I'll be facilitating your questions. So excited to see you here. And again, thank you to CIBC for sponsoring this event today. I will be sharing some more information and resources for you at the end of our Q&A. So please stick around. You'll hear about some financial incentives and some perks for you as part of the Devont community from CIBC. So, Elizabeth, I have a few questions to start off to get you warmed up. Someone's asking, if I work as a PSW in a retirement home, can I use it for CEC experience and also sponsor my spouse for SOWP?
Right. So this is so very importantly, PSWs can be high skilled, they can also be low skilled, the same kind of work. It really depends on where you work. If you're working for a retirement home, nursing home, if you're working for an institution like a hospital, etc., that is normally high skilled work. It belongs to the same occupation as nurse's aide. Okay,
Okay.
and you can use that for express entry CC. You can use it. I believe it is on the list for the open spousal work permits. Okay, now if you are taking care of someone in their home, though, in those situations, it's normally considered to be the low skilled work, home support worker. And in that situation, then it is a low skilled. And you wouldn't be able to use it for express entry or for your spouse to have a open spousal work permit.
Thank you so much for that clarity. Another question we have here is I'm a job seeker. My husband is working in IT, but over 40 years old. I'm 35 and I have no Canadian experience, but I have 10 years of international experience. Should we enter the pool keeping me as the primary applicant or my husband because he's the one currently working?
Okay, so in this situation, I can't answer your question right now. There's a lot of factors that we have to discuss and consider, um, whether or not express entry is right or whether or not some other programs are right for you. So do come and my information is there. Email us, and we will also let us know you've come to from Devant because we do offer a special discount for those who come from Devant. And it's $100 for the consultation. We do everything on Teams, and you don't have to come to our office. But we can then go over a plan for you and your family.
Great. Thank you so much. Just a reminder, you can like the questions and I will ask those first to Elizabeth if you see a question that relates to you. Ideally, we're looking for general questions, directional questions, but if it's like very specific, then she's going to recommend that you come in for our consult. So just to give you the heads up. So someone just says, thank you so much for hosting this webinar. You're very welcome. And we have to thank also CIBC for sponsoring for us to continue these sessions. I have consulted with your firm previously on other matters, but I'd like to ask this question here for the broader audience. Currently on a 1 year postgraduate work permit, and I have about 7 months remaining. Unfortunately, my chances for qualifying through the Canadian Experience class may no longer be realistic, and securing another job within the remaining time is uncertain. My concern is having only a limited amount of time left on my work permit will become a major barrier when I'm applying for jobs. Also, if I'm able to secure employment before the permit expires, what are my possible options or chances for extending my ability to continue working in Canada?
So, we had this webinar a few months ago. We might do it again. I think we did it last year, where we
Okay.
talked about ways of extending your work permit in Canada if you're currently on a work permit that might expire. And so that's one of the things that we have to think about first. If you won't have enough work experience based on your current postgrad work permit, to qualify for express entry or to have a good chance to get an invitation to apply is how to extend your work permit. And there might be some time, 7 months, for example, maybe you might be able to learn French to the Francophone work permit level, which is speaking and listening only to the level 5. Maybe, we can look at different options, come for another consultation, and we can take a look at that.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. I have another question. I recently graduated in business management human resources, and I'm currently on maintained status, awaiting my postgrad work permit decision. I did not submit a medical exam with my postgrad work permit application since my background is in social work. I would like to know if I can get into social work services before or and after receiving my postgrad work permit, or if a medical exam would be required. And congratulations on your graduation.
Yes, congratulations. For social work, there's so much different kinds of work I think that can be involved with social work. On the work permits, if you don't have a medical, it will say not authorized to work with children or in healthcare settings. Or in healthcare. So does social work, if you're going to be doing social work in a hospital or with children, that it sounds like to me that you wouldn't necessarily want that restriction on your work permit, because it might restrict your ability to do work that you may want to do. In that case, what you can do, you currently don't have your postgrad work permit yet. You could go and do a medical and update your application. And so to try to, not have that restriction on your work permit.
Okay, thank you. Someone says, what about DSW? I'm not sure what that is. Do you know what that means?
DSW. I'm not sure.
Sorry, Sandy, but if you could give us some more details on what you mean, that would be great.
So many acronyms in
I know.
sometimes I don't even know what these
Oh my
acronyms
gosh.
are.
And I just want to ask you, can you just explain for the audience what does CEC mean for those who are
Yeah, CEC means Canadian Experience Class. It's one of the ways that you would be able to get into Express Entry right now.
okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, great. I see someone liked a question, so I'm going to ask these questions first. If you like them, there'll be more. They'll move to the front. What about the spousal and common law sponsorship? If I live with my Canadian boyfriend for 12 months, am I eligible to apply for PR with that?
Yes, spousal sponsorships are great if you qualify. I can't say right now as to whether or not for sure you would qualify, but common law is a way. And normally, if you have resided with your partner for 12 months, you become common law after that. So certainly we can look into that option for you.
Okay. Thank you. So someone else says, Hi, Elizabeth. I have two quick questions regarding my postgrad work permit. First, for the IMM 5710 employment history section.
Okay. You know
Okay, so
what?
I
I'm
think
gonna
that I'm not going to go through. I think
Yeah.
that based on you have a specific example like this, you really need to reach out to Elizabeth for a one-on-one consult because you're specifically asking like personal, direct questions on the form. I think that one, I'm going to encourage you to ask Elizabeth for that as a
Yeah,
consult.
and also just to let you guys know, on our consultation, we're not allowed to provide what's called ghost consulting by immigrant. That's illegal, which means that you're providing specific advice on an application, but you're not actually the representative on there. So if we are to provide advice on an application, we have to be the representative on the file. Okay, so anytime that if you wanted to have specific, how do I do this form? How do I do this on this application? In that stage, you need to know that you'll need to retain, uh, us as the lawyer in order for us to represent you and guide you through the process. The
Mhm.
consultations are for general plans. You can do, if you do this, we can do express entry. We can go and extend your work permit this way. We can and have that general plan, personalized plan for you. And then if you want to move forward and, you know, activate your plan and move forward with that, you can hire us and then we can move forward with that.
Mhm. Thank you so much for explaining that, Elizabeth. And I see a lot of questions coming into the chat. Just a reminder, please use the Q&A so that I can prioritize your questions and make sure your questions are asked. Thank you guys so much for joining. I see we've got some new people joining as well. So I'm going to continue because you've got quite a bit of questions here. I'm currently on a postgrad work permit and it was issued in March of 2026 and will expire in 2029. I'm currently working as an EA, executive assistant at a non-for-profit. Can I get an SOP for my spouse? And please explain what is an
And
SOP.
so it's probably as open spousal work permit is I think what they mean by that.
Okay.
I don't know if a EA, I know community services worker you can, but a community service worker, I don't know, just from a title, it's not enough for me to say whether or not someone is a community service worker or not. It's about the duties. So you can come and we can have a chat about that.
Great. Thank you. Should I stay in Toronto or strategically relocate for PR? Which provinces currently give the best PR chances? And I've had this question before where people are thinking of moving like north because there were some northern programs. So I'm curious what is happening now with the proposed changes, but also what is your, as is in terms of the current state, what are the recommendations or strategies you think might be good?
Now, these kind of recommendations are very personal. There's a lot of things that go into it. So, for example, some people may already have a job in the GTA and they might have work that will allow them to, um, get permanent residence very easily. In that situation, you don't have to move. And some people have studied up north and they have job offers up north. In those situations, they maximize their chances, perhaps for different programs like the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Programs or RCIP if they are one of the occupations, or so we really need to understand a person's circumstances before we can provide options. But in general, if a lot of people say, I'm willing to work anywhere. I'm willing to go anywhere. Just tell me where to go so I can get permanent residence. It's difficult to do so because there may be provinces where you can, get a provincial nomination easier than Ontario. However, all of these provinces, almost all of them, will require you to have a job offer. So, it might be easier, for example, to get nomination in Newfoundland, but are you able to get a job in Newfoundland compared to Ontario? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I see Sandeep resubmitted the question. So currently I am a DSW student and I came in August of 2025. Can I sponsor my boyfriend now or not?
I don't know what a DSW. What is a DSW,
That's what that,
Sandy?
I guess a student,
Okay, just a
can a
student.
student, let's just say a student, can a
Yes.
student who came August of 2025 sponsor a boyfriend?
Again, I don't really know what you mean by sponsored. Sponsorship in Canadian law has a very specific meaning, which is a Canadian or permanent resident can sponsor their spouse, their married spouse or common law spouse, for permanent residence. It doesn't sound like you are one of those things. Perhaps you're talking about getting a work permit for your common law spouse. Um, right now, you can only get a work permit if you're a international student for master's plus, master's or PhD. So, we can talk about your options in a consultation.
Okay, thank you. For the express entry, will the score be different if I'm studying in Ontario and working in Alberta or BC?
No, for express entry, everything is okay. The only thing that you don't want to do is live in Quebec while you're applying, unless you can show that you don't intend to live in Quebec after you get permanent residence, because express entry is only available to those who want to live outside of Quebec. Now, after you get your permanent residence, you do have the right to move to Quebec if your intentions change. But while you are applying, your actions must show that you intend to live outside of Quebec.
Okay, thank you. Someone is asking, is it still, I guess, useful to study French with the proposed changes?
I think it is because there's still going to be French category-based draws. So certainly French is very good. It's just that um, you're when they take away the 50 points, they said it's a duplication, which I agree. You don't need if you can pass the seven level for French, you'll likely, get invited to apply through the French draws. You don't need the 50 points.
Okay, thank you. I see that was a common theme for a few other questions here. So someone's saying, hi, Elizabeth and Devon. I'm an international student studying personal support worker, and I want to know whether I can use my 1 year for my PR or apply for another program to get the 3 year postgrad work permit in order to get the Canadian work experience. What do you suggest?
I suggest that you come for a consultation. We can figure out what to do for your situation before you go and apply for your postgrad work permit. You can only get one postgrad work permit in your lifetime. For most people, 1 year may not be enough for you to be able to get what you need for permanent residence. Very dicey with just a 1 year work permit. But we can certainly talk about it before you go and apply for that 1 year work permit. Let's have a chat.
Okay. So someone is just, I'm going to paraphrase here because again, it's very specific to the individual, but if someone has failed some courses and not graduated yet. Um, and they're sort of trying to retake courses to successfully pass. However, it looks like their study permanent visa only remains valid, let's say, till the end of August. Would it impact their upcoming work permit application? So will grades impact the work permit application?
Um, your grades, as long as you've completed your program, doesn't impact the postgrad work permit. You can be a part-time student in your last semester and still qualify for postgrad work permit. If you failed before and you're only part-time student in other semesters, that could be a big issue for postgrad work permit. But if it's in last semester, you can apply for your postgrad work permit as soon as you get the indication from the school that you've completed your studies. So if you're able to get that before your study permit expires, you don't necessarily have to apply to extend your study permit.
Okay, thank you. I see some questions here again. I do recommend, there's a question here about LMIA and your husband's work permit. So again, thank you for your question. I do think this question is probably best having a consultation with Elizabeth around the coordination of the LMIA pathway versus the employer-specific work permit. This also I know is very complicated, and I've heard Elizabeth answer this question before. So you really would need a consultation. Thank you so much for the question. Please reach out to Elizabeth to have this situation assessed for you. Um, just reading through the questions. I do see a couple questions around age. So someone says, I'm in the express entry pool, but my score is low on the ground of age. I'm over 40. How should I apply for the PNP? I am a qualified Francophone. So any tips for people who are over 40 or in terms of age? I think that I'm seeing it also in the chat as
If you're
well.
a francophone, your score can be even in the 300s. There were some opportunities to do so. Do come for a consultation. There's a lot of things we can talk about to see to have you qualified for permanent residence. Anyone who can speak French and you have a work permit, especially an open work permit, there's a lot we can talk about.
Okay, great. Oh, and by the way, Sandeep said DSW means developmental services worker.
I
So we
got it.
learned something.
Okay, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Sandeep.
Developmental
Okay.
services worker. Is that like a social worker I'm not sure exactly what it is, but um, it's if you can get if that's a college program, you can get a post-grad work permit with that, then that's good. I don't can't remember what the question was.
So I think that we said like we wanted to come for the consultation so
Yeah,
that this way you can really go deeper.
good idea. Yes.
But I think we can go back and see if there's a follow-up there. We can reach out to Sandeep. Um, Sandeep, thank you so much. Okay, so I have some other questions here for you. Someone says, I recently graduated from an MBA in Canada and now I have a 3-year postgrad work permit. Would studying and working in a trade field like electrician or another skilled trade improve my PR chances if I gain Canadian work experience in that sector?
Okay, before you just, completely throw away your degree and go and work in the trades, come and we can have a chat. If you're able to get a position that is a high wage position, occupation, that could already give you a boost in the new programs. So yeah, let's have a chat about, don't just look at, oh, trades, you're not necessarily. Let's take a look at what you want to do.
Okay, okay, great. This is an important question that I think we should address. For the postgrad work permit application, if you submitted it here in Canada, is there a chance your application could be rejected if you come back to your home country and wait for the results? Do I have to inform IRCC that I'm in my home country, or is there anything I need to do waiting in my home country?
So here's the thing, you want to be able to work. in Canada while waiting for your postgrad work. These postgrad work permits can take, 7, 8, 9 months to be processed. And that can be a good thing because it can stretch along your time as long as you've applied appropriately in the right time. It can stretch your time to be authorized to work in Canada. So before you just want to, oh, I'm going to wait until enjoy myself until the new postgrad work permit comes, think about the options about what you can do with that very, very valuable time
Mm-hmm.
while waiting for the postgrad work permit. But you have to be inside Canada, right, to do that. And there's issues with implied status if you leave, right? Implied status is over, while waiting for it. There's also issues with you need to come back. I don't know if you need a visa to be back in Canada. Whether or not your application may be rejected, maybe not. But there's a lot of things to consider instead of just staying in your home country. So, come for a consultation. We can certainly discuss your plans.
Okay, thank you. Someone says here, can we study PSW or another course that is equal to 6 months in our post-grad work permit? There's always a debate going on.
Yeah, so
Less than or equal to 6 months.
yeah, so you can study in a program that's less than 6 months without a study permit. Okay. Um, but as to whether or not you should is a question because if you studied full time, the work experience that you gain right now while you're studying full time will not be counted towards your CEC qualification for CEC, or it will not be counted towards your work experience points for the CRS points for express entry. So if you're able to get a high skill job right now, do you want to just lose those very valuable, your postgrad work permit is only good for 3 years. You have limited time to do this. So there's a lot of weighing as to what is best.
Hmm.
But you can do a PSW that is under 6 months without another study permit. You could always study and apply for a study permit for a program that's 6 months or more. Um, but it depends on the circumstances as to whether or not you should.
Okay, thank you. Again, please put your questions in the Q&A. I see a lot of questions going in the chat. Please use the Q&A feature so that I can sort through the questions for everyone. Um, okay, I'm seeing here a lot of specific questions. Um, so
A lot of
someone just,
questions about French, eh?
yeah, a lot of French questions.
French remains a very good route for permanent resident. It remains a very good route because of the Francophone category-based draws. The government has maintained that it continues to want to settle the country with French speakers. So, and you can also get Francophone work permits. So, if you are French speaking or if you're learning in the process of learning French, it could be a very good thing. I recommend in many of people who come to see me to learn French. It's not just a matter of learning French, though. It's a matter of passing the French exam and getting those necessary points. And a lot of times, if you're just studying on your own or you're studying with, just a regular French tutor who doesn't really understand the exams, it can be frustrating because passing those as French exams really requires an understanding of what these exams are looking for. I have a very good secret weapon who is a French tutor who just trains people to pass the French exam. I've recommended her to many people who are looking because I told her, I don't care. My clients don't care about anything else. We just want to pass the exam. And so that's my secret weapon. And it's secret. I only tell people who come to me.
We're
I'm not
here.
telling
Come to
everybody
you.
in the world. I'm not telling everybody. Yes.
Gonna hold that one on as an ace in your pocket.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically with the new categories that may be coming up, will age still be a factor for points? I think you addressed this already.
Age is still going to be a factor for points. They have not, we have said you should adjust the age points. But who knows if, I don't know how much they're going to listen to us. They have said
Mhm.
themselves that they're going to keep age on.
Okay. Um, so this is could be a general. So can tier two knock as a primary knock be combined with tier three knock for a PR application?
Right now, yes, for CEC and for express entry work experience points, you don't have to have the same occupation. You can as long as you're high skilled, you can use them.
Thank you. So I see someone's asking about how to contact you. I have it on the slides here. You can contact Elizabeth at inquiries at lmlawgroup.com, 416-548-9101. And she has a discount for those who are in the Devant community. You get a discount 1 hour consult. So please reach out to her and book your consult. That'll be great. Someone's saying if my passport expires in a year and I get my new passport in July, when should I apply for the postgrad work permit?
Um, you should go and well, it depends on when your timeline of when you completed your program. If you can wait to get your new passport before you apply for the postgrad work permit, it's probably easier. But if not, submit your postgrad work permit application. You can update your application. Hopefully, the officer will see the new passport. Otherwise, if you get a postgrad work permit with just the 1 year, you can always apply for another postgrad work permit to the full 3 year time period.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. So if some people are asking for the tutor, I think that once you book some time, that's going to be a bonus for her clients.
I will, yes.
Maybe Elizabeth, can you also maybe just explain like how the consultation process works? Someone is just saying if we do a one-time consultation, how does it work? Like continuous conversations after that, and throughout the PR process. Is it like an hourly fee, or can you talk a little bit about your services?
Sure. So basically, the initial consultation is a time when we provide a plan for you. We'll go over your situation and provide a plan for you. Now, part of that plan may be for you to go and do your own things, go and study French, go and do this and etc. But when the time comes to apply for the application, if you want to have specific advice on your application, you will need to retain us as your lawyers. And it's best if you retain your lawyer early rather than later you do it yourself and something goes wrong, the price for the lawyer would go way up compared to if you do it right from the first get-go. Okay, so at the consultation, once we have the plan, we'll quote you our fee for representing you in your application then.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Someone is asking an interesting question here. So they submitted for their PR in January of 2025, so over a year ago. Did their medicals and biometric data, also got an email for pre-arrival in August of 2025. However, no future messages have been received or nothing else from IRCC. The medicals have now expired. Is there any reason for all of these delays? Is there a backlog? Any information about this timing?
Yeah, so this is a little, a pretty long time, January 2025. Some countries we do see that they might have a longer period of time for security checks. And it might take, a year and a half for a security check. On the other hand, I have seen some really bad cases where an officer sent an email telling people to land and they never receive the email. All of a sudden, there's something at issue with the case. So we can certainly take a look at your case. Maybe we can first try to get a copy of the notes in your case. If it takes too long, what we can do is we can go through the mandamus steps. First, we send a very clear email to IRCC saying this is the situation and we will be seeking mandamus if we don't um, receive a response. Mandamus is where we go to the federal court to ask the court to force the government to act.
Oh.
And oftentimes in these kind of situations, we don't even need to go the full way. Sometimes, it's just a matter of sending these web forms that will get the attention of a supervisor who will say, hey, what's going on? Go and do something about it. Because sometimes a case might, you know, go to an officer who might be laid off or change positions, and then it just goes to nowhere, falling through the cracks of the bureaucracy. Um, so it really, depends on, but there are things that we can do in measured steps to try to force an action.
Hmm. Thank you so much. That's very interesting. I didn't know that that is something that, you can do when you have a lawyer to force action or to force a decision. That's really interesting. I'm going to try to whiz through a few more questions. Please share your thoughts with us. I've put up the poll. Would love your feedback. Any suggestions on future topics, immigration or otherwise. Thanks again so much for joining. I'm just going to maybe ask or share one more thing here. Someone says, thank you for answering my passport question. I graduated this June, but I've already gotten my transcript. Another person says, if we're keeping my husband as a primary applicant and he's currently working, but has a low score due to age, will my international experience and professional certificate boost his score?
It really depends on the situation. I'm not sure if you mean that you're going to be a spouse and they'll be the principal applicant or not. Yeah, come for a consultation and we'll go over this. Sisha, maybe we have time
Great.
for one more question and then
Okay.
let's move on.
I'm going to take this last one. I'm a PSW student and I'll be graduating in January. My study and work permit will expire in April, including my visa. Should I continue staying and working in Canada? And when can I be eligible to bring my wife and daughter?
Hmm. Good question. Questions I can't really answer right now. Come for a consultation. We do need to see, what your situation is, whether or not you should be applying for your postgrad work permit at this time. We'll also take a look at the applications for your family. Was it rejected before? Why haven't you applied for them to accompany you? We'll discuss all the options for you.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much. Please join me in thanking Elizabeth for her time. I wanted to also just say I've got a poll here from CIBC to learn more about your financial goals for newcomers. Please share with us, what are some of your personal financial goals? What are some of the things that matter to you? I hope you found this session, useful. And again, thank you to CIBC. Also wanted to share with you that CIBC also has some financial perks. If you are opening up an account, you opening up a credit card, a bank account, you can use the code word Devant and you will get special promo and special access to financial rewards provided for the Devon community by CIBC. You can do this online, in person, through telephone banking, and in the branch by using the code Devant. Now, I also want to say if you're a graduate or not sure what comes after graduation, we are offering the Alumni Advantage program. Oh, thank you, Elizabeth, for putting the CIBC. Yes, please flip back to the CIBC codes here. So this is a special codes that CIBC has provided for international students, newcomers. There are also special programs for you if you're a recent graduate. So on our website, as well as through follow-up emails, you will get some special codes that you can use to learn about all the special financial perks offered by CIBC. And for the financial goals, thanks again for everyone who's responding here. I see some of the top financial goals for newcomers are being listed as saving for future investments or big purchases like a car or house, as well as managing daily living expenses. So I'll leave that open for a little bit longer, and we'll just close with the Alumni Advantage program. We want to say congratulations to all of you who have graduated or are coming up for graduation in 2026 and also 2025. You can scan here to register for upcoming support services to help you in your career, as well as in your next move for a better job aligned to your academics, but also towards your immigration goals. So, again, thank you so much for joining us. Please make sure you go onto the website to see the future webinars and opportunities available for you, hosted specifically by Devont. And again, thank you so much, Elizabeth, for being here and sharing your expertise. I know it was a lot of questions. You did a fantastic job trying to, answer some of those. Please reach out to us at Devon if you guys have any follow-up questions. Have a great evening, and I'm going to leave the last final words to you. Oh, I see lots of hearts coming here for you. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah, definitely give her applause. And is there any final words that you have for the group?
I just like to say, it's things are never easy for immigration, and it might be disheartening to see some of these changes that may come up. I think overall, a lot of the same people who would be invited to apply this now will likely be able to apply later on. Um, there's going to be some rough, times right now, but I do think overall Canada needs people like you to be in Canada. And hopefully the politicians and the program designers are going to see the light. We, have been working really hard with different organizations to try to give that message to them that international students are some of the best immigrants to stay in Canada. And so hang in there. Here's hoping that you guys will be able to stay.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Bye, everyone.
Yeah,
Good
everyone.
luck. See you in the next one.